Welcome to Park TV, Channel 16, where today we have boys lacrosse with the Holy Angels Co-Stars and the Benilde-St. Margaret's Red Knights. My name is Tony Geer. Paul is up in the box. He's going to be joining me as our commentator. He's from the Minnesota Swarm. With me right now is Coach Colin Mulcahy. Did I pronounce that correctly, Coach?
Mulcahy.
Mulcahy.
All right.
In talking with the Holy Angels coaches I did before we got on mic, he mentioned that you have some solid goaltending and a couple of nice players offensively and defensively that he has to watch out for.
I think one of the best goaltenders in the state, returning all-state player, and as far as offensively, we got a solid attack group that should be able to produce some good numbers tonight.
Why don't you identify your goaltender for us?
Patrick Gilligan, number 3.
He's a senior?
Senior captain.
Okay. And the state champion for the last 2 years, which is the 2 years that the high school league has sanctioned the activity,
yes,
has come out of your section.
Absolutely. We have one of the most difficult conferences and sections every year. The private school conference, teams like Holy Angels, Blake, Breck, give us a lot of really good competition.
Right now you're 0-2 and Holy Angels comes in 1-0. What do you expect out of Holy Angels?
I expect a really good game. They're a solid group. I've got a lot of players myself that I need to watch out for. And year in, year out, they're very good, very talented team. So it should be a great night.
And a quick scouting report on Holy Angels for us, please.
I'm going to be watching out for number 22, number 1, and number 9. They put up some good numbers last week, and I expect them to do the same tonight. So we'll have to watch out for those guys.
Have fun tonight, Coach.
All right,
and we
you.
hope to be back with the Holy Angels coach in just 1 second.
Thank you.
The biggest dangers your pet faces are everyday dangers, like drinking from puddles, squirrels in the park, and fleas and ticks. Being a pet is risky business, but a risk assessment and wellness exam from your veterinarian twice a year can reduce disease risks and prevent problems before they become serious. Contact your veterinarian today, because being a pet is risky business. A message from the American Veterinary Medical Association and your local veterinarians.
Welcome back to Benilde-St. Margaret's High School, where tonight we have Benilde-St. Margaret's at 0-2 versus the Holy Angels Co-Stars at 1-0. I'm Tony Geer along with Paul Ripito. Paul Ripito is an account executive with the Minnesota Swarm, and he's going to educate both myself and our viewers on lacrosse so that we can become better fans of the event.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy to be here. It looks like we're going to have a pretty good matchup between a couple of teams with some good players early on in this young season.
It is my understanding that the Benilde squad has one of the top goaltenders in the state, and that's Patrick Gilligan. And that is a concern for the Holy Angels coach, Eric Overman, when I talked to him pregame. We did have a chance to talk with Coach for a pregame segment for this contest, but due to an piece of equipment hitting your announcer in the face, we're not able to complete that. But we'll talk to him at the end of the game.
Okay.
Paul, why don't you describe what's going on for action out there for us right now?
Okay, yeah, well, essentially the way it starts is with the face-off with 2 guys from each team fight for the ball. They have 2 other players on each team on the sides there, on the wing lines that you see between those. Well, we can't see it right now, but they fight for the ball until possession's gained. They have 10 seconds to get it into the restraining box, which you see Holy Angels toying with right now. You can leave the box as many times as you want, as long as you get back in within 10 seconds.
Okay. So he can't chase a ball down way back there like he wanted to just a second ago. You're saying the goaltender has to stay within the goal area?
No, he doesn't. He can go, The goalie can go wherever he wants, whenever he wants. He just can't have the ball within his stick, within the crease for 4 seconds or more.
Okay. Now, there's obviously some offsides involved, but we'll get into that a little bit later because that's fairly simple from what I understand.
Yes, it is.
Okay. How many players did you say are on each squad now?
There's 10 players on the side.
Including goaltenders?
Including the goaltenders, yep.
Now, obviously, there's a huge difference between the pros and the high school. Have you gone out and seen any high school yet this year?
Not in Minnesota. I am relatively new to the area. I've heard a lot of good things about the players up here. Actually, Minnesota Duluth has one of the top club teams in the country as far as college club goes, and all those kids are Minnesota grown and raised.
So even though the Minnesota State High School League here in the state of Minnesota has sanctioned this activity a couple years ago for state tournament participation, it is a relatively old young sport. That was a nice save by
Gilligan.
Gilligan, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Being kind of an old new sport, the sport's been going on since about '98 here in Minnesota, but just sanctioned a couple years ago. Does that surprise you?
Not really. It's been a sport that's been huge on the East Coast for a really long time, and it's been starting to make its way westward. Actually, the Swarm has a player that grew up in Minnesota named Colin Achenbach, who is somewhat of a cult hero over at the Excel Energy Center where the Swarm play their games. I mean, a lot of people seem to be following in his footsteps, picking up those lacrosse sticks and learning the game at a faster rate than ever.
Now we got play going on here at the Holy Angels defensive end or Benilde-St. Margaret's offensive end. Which way would you describe that?
I would consider it the defensive end for Holy Angels.
Okay.
It's really up to personal preference, I'd say, depending which team you're pulling for.
Now, as you heard when I did the pregame show with the Benilde coach, one of the pieces of information I was able to gather from my research when I discovered I was going to be doing this game is that the state champion has come out of this section the last 2 years. So it's one of the tougher sections. It's made up mainly of the private schools, along with Edina, the Bloomington schools, and I think Richfield.
Yeah, definitely. I think you could also throw a school like Eden Prairie into the mix. They're actually being coached by one of the Swarm players, Ryan Ward. But yeah, I mean, with the private schools, you definitely find a lot of more experienced, skilled players finding a lot of time on the field, even though they might not be at the biggest schools, at least size-wise.
Now it's 12-minute quarters.
Yes.
It only stops when the referee feels that the ball's out of play and unplayable.
There's stoppages for penalties and also things like loose ball pushes, which would essentially be a push in the back of it's basically pushing someone when it's totally unnecessary, like if you're away from the play or something like that. And obviously injury timeouts and goals as well.
And then there's 2 minutes between quarters and then 12-minute halves.
I'm not sure about that.
I'm guessing at that. That's my understanding from the rules that I read, but that doesn't mean that I read the right rules.
Yeah, I mean, I think it can really vary depending on each league. If that's the rules in Minnesota, then I have nothing else to go on.
And you can substitute similar to hockey on the fly.
Yeah, absolutely. If you watch the box at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a couple of orange pylons. The players will use that box to sub in and out of the game as the night goes on. So it's definitely going to be a hot spot for some of the action.
As you can probably hear the PA announcer in the background, he's doing a little more play-by-play without the benefit of having to play it back like you do at home today, folks. But this is for the fans in attendance, so if you come out to an event like this, you can be sure that you're going to get educated.
Yeah,
and you had mentioned when I talked to you by phone that there was a person with the Swarm called the Professor.
Yeah, at our games over at Excel, we have a guy who sits right next to our PA announcer who explains the rules to people who might be seeing it for the first time, explains a little bit of the penalties. There's the ability to challenge goals and other calls in the indoor game that you're not going to see here tonight, but he explains the rules regarding that as well, which is pretty cool. So if you're out there listening to this broadcast tonight, you got to come out to the Excel and check out the Swarm sometime. It's quite a blast.
When does your season end at the Excel?
Unfortunately, it ends this coming Saturday, April 18th. The Swarm are battling for the last playoff spot in the West, so we definitely need all the people out there packing the building and making it loud.
Well, unfortunately for the fan push, this will get on after that.
Well, you know, season tickets do go on sale.
We'll get into that a little later, and I appreciate your help from the Swarm.
Yeah.
Playoff tickets, I'm sure, are available for the viewers. How's that? There's a positive then for you.
It doesn't look like we're going to be having any home playoff games this year, unfortunately, but you could catch them on mnswarm.com. And if they make the playoffs, you'll be able to watch all the games on the website right there.
Cool. Webcasting.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's something we're familiar with here at Park TV, as we do some webcasting.
Okay, cool.
Coming out front. He keeps the handle. Oh, the bear with a save. He's got all the way.
Boy, if I'd known this guy here was doing the PA, we could have just hooked him up.
Yeah, well.
Paul, what are you noticing early on in the game here? We've seen action at both defensive ends.
I think the teams are trying to feel each other out right now. I mean, Holy Angels seems to be a little bit sloppy clearing their own zone right now. Nobody's really breaking out, trying to get open for those passes, and it's really allowing Benilde-St. Margaret's to hold the ball in.
There's a substitution coming in at the lower right-hand corner of your screen.
And it looks like we're going to have a timeout. Timeouts can only take place when a team has possession of the ball, and in most cases, the way it's going to work is that once they get into the restraining box is when the timeouts are going to be called, or at least granted by the refs.
While we're in this timeout, we want to mention Benilde-St. Margaret's huge garage sale. BSM Parent Association upscale sale Saturday, May 2nd. This annual treasure hunt showcase clothing features furniture, toys, household items, electronics, books, and more. Goes from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Proceeds benefit the BSM educational programs. Benilde-St. Margaret's is located at 2501 Highway 100 South in St. Louis Park. For info, visit www.bsm-online.org. Paul, speaking of finding Benilde, were you able to locate the football field here fairly easily?
I flew by it the first time I drove by, but I was able to get here eventually, so I'm definitely happy to be here.
Sorry I couldn't give you better directions than Highway 100 and Cedar Lake Road.
Well, I mean, that's about the best directions you can give. I mean, it really is right there on Highway 100.
The timeout's over. Play will resume in the Holy Angels defensive end. Our score is still 0-0. We're in the first quarter. I can't see the clock. How much time?
4:48.
4:48. And to recap the action thus far that you have not seen, your play-by-play announcer got smacked with a ball in the eye doing the pregame show. And when you get a chance to see the video, you're going to laugh. It hurt, but, you know, I can understand where it'd be funny.
Yeah, you know, welcome to Lacrosse, Tony.
Thanks.
Nothing like a ball in the face to welcome you to a new sport.
Hey, we apologize for not identifying a lot of the players as they're touching the ball, or the puck, I guess it's identified as.
It's a ball.
It's a ball?
Yep.
But the rosters were sort of thrown at us an hour before the game, and we decided that we're just going to try and point out some nuances and educate everybody to try to help the sport grow in that sense. But again, when you come out to at least the Benilde games here, you'll have an educated announcer helping you out.
Good split dodge from the top of the box there. Obviously, it's very similar to a lot of other sports like basketball and football. Players trying to juke and fake the other team. Oh, that would have been nasty if you put that in. But yeah, you'll see, as the game goes on, you'll see a lot of the same strategy that you'd find with hockey and basketball, with teams setting up plays in their offensive zone.
So hockey and basketball offensive setup, soccer configuration, football or hockey level contact. Which would you describe it as?
I would say it's more like hockey. Oh.
And we got a goal.
Yes.
This goal is from number 9 for Holy Angels. And we don't have that there. Here we go, number 9. Luke McNamara, and he's one of the players that the Benilde-St. Margaret coach identified as a leader for this program. Luke is a junior for the Co-Stars.
Yeah, that's just sloppy defense on the behalf of Benilde-St. Margaret's. He ran right past him. Didn't even have to use a dodge. Let it rip lefty, and he was able to squeak it in on that near post.
Feel free to sugarcoat it. But hey, we're not trying to offend anybody, but it was, sloppy just to let him go loose like that. A little bit of rugby involved in this.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of a scrum. You'll see the ball go on the ground, and teams come up and just fight for it like no other. And as you can see, all the goalies can come out as well.
And we got another goal. This is by number 7. Oh, number 1. Colin Hurley.
Looks like it's going to be no goal.
Why is there no goal?
They're going to call it a crease call. Much like hockey, you can't be in the crease when a goal is scored. Actually, you can't be in the crease at all. And when that happens, it's going to be a turnover, and the other team's going to get the ball and get a chance to clear their zone, as Benilde is right now.
Here's McNamara at midfield.
I'm loving this guy. He knows the names and everything.
Yeah, I think he had some more time to study up.
I mean, he didn't get a call early in the morning like you did?
No, I don't mean that at all. Ooh.
Down low to the left.
Yeah, McNamara letting it rip again. Going high this time instead of just going for the near post.
Let's take a look at it again. There's the setup. McNamara swings and throws it in. That's his second goal of the game.
It is. He puts the Holy Angels up 2-0 here with about 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Casey McNamara is just letting it rip right now. Usually what you'll see are guys trying to bounce it to fool the goalie a little bit, but right now he's just using brute force, and it's getting the goals up on the board.
Luke McNamara.
Luke McNamara, beg your pardon.
No problem. Say, when you got your job with the Swarm, were you a former pro player, or where did your education come from?
Not a pro player. I played in high school in Connecticut and also California. I went to school at Arizona, played for the club team down there for a couple of years as well.
Looks like we got a little hook coming up.
Yeah.
And it's going to put Holy Angels down one player.
Yeah, it's like the call is going to be a slash. What is going to happen now is that Holy Angels will be down 6-on-5, not including the goalie, obviously. It's going to be a 1-minute penalty as opposed to a 2-minute penalty, which you would find in hockey. But much like hockey, it's going to be a releasable penalty. So if Benilde-St. Margaret scores right here, that penalty is wiped off the board.
So the term is literally power play.
Some people call it a power play. Other people call it man up.
Call it what?
Man up.
Power play.
Okay, well, I guess in Minnesota, power play makes more sense to most people out there. So
remember, it's a state of hockey.
It is the state of hockey. Never seen anything like the high school state championships here, so I definitely understand where it gets its name from.
Let's listen to the house PA for a minute here.
Here's Schublum with the shot. He shoots it wide. Oh, it's got a Stars ball.
Well, tough break for Benilde-St. Margaret's right there. They're moving the ball well on the man advantage, but they weren't able to back up that shot, and that's something you got to do when you got the man advantage, to keep the ball in the zone. But they get the turnover right here.
And he had a shot, but he got disturbed on the swing.
Yeah, you know, he got checked there. You can definitely check the sticks with your stick. You can use the body to deter the players from getting an accurate shot off. It's a lot like hockey in a lot of regards.
Ball popped loose from number 19, Tyler Craig.
Neither team can clear. From Craig for the Stars. This is Adam Clark. The ball. Tony Geer. He reverses field now.
All right, so you have Benilde-St. Margaret's getting the ball, getting it into the box, having a total of 20 seconds to get it past midfield and into the restraining box. You can't really see the lines right now. There's a line that runs between the midline and the goal line, as well as a couple of lines that run in the opposite direction. If those lines are vertical, those lines would be horizontal. That forms the restraining box there.
Was that the shot clock?
That looks like,
Oh, it's the end of the quarter.
yeah, it looks like it's going to be the end of the quarter here.
At the end of one quarter, Holy Angels Coal Stars 2, Benilde-St. Margaret's Red Knights 0. I'm Tony Geer along with Paul Ripito from the Minnesota Swarm. We'll be back after this 60-second timeout.
When it comes to dogs, cats, and kids, sharing just comes naturally. They share their toys, their beds, even their favorite snacks. But pets and people can share other things as well, like disease. Zoonotic diseases are illnesses that can be transmitted from animals to humans, like leptospirosis, or diseases that affect both people and pets, like Lyme disease. Fortunately, you can help reduce the risk by visiting your veterinarian. Your veterinarian can help protect against zoonotic disease and potentially harmful parasites. Most important, a wellness exam from your veterinarian twice a year can help detect, treat, or prevent health problems before they become serious. So share affection, not illness, and ask your veterinarian about zoonotic disease protection for all your loved ones. A message from the American Veterinary Medical Association and your local veterinarians.
Okay, a lot of people out there don't know too much about the sport either.
Paul Ripito, your impressions on the first half for both teams?
The teams seem to be filling each other out a little bit. Benilde's got some great opportunities towards the end of the first quarter there. On Holy Angels' end of the field, they weren't able to convert any. One of the things that they really need to start doing, though, is backing up those shots. I mean, it's really just a matter of hustle. And, you know, when you get those good shots and you rip them wide, you got to have one of your attackmen behind the net, backing up those shots when they go out of bounds, or really grabbing them before they do, just so you can maintain possession. If you shoot them wide and don't get the ball back, those shots are really a wasted opportunity.
So this is a scrum to start it out?
That's a face-off, and you see Benilde coming up with it, and the guys that are inside the restraining box aren't allowed to come out of that box until one of the teams gains possession of the ball. So obviously the offensive players are able to kind of roam the field freely now, at least in the offensive zone, where they would not be until possession was gained after a face-off.
So a defensive player here cannot interchange for a substitution until the ball's in their end?
They can, but they have to stay on their end of the field, so they can't cross the midline, but they can come out of the substitution box as long as they stay behind that line. And when players come onto the field, they have to enter behind the midfield line as well.
So you change ends in terms of scoring or nets at each quarter,
Yeah,
much like football.
Yeah, definitely like football, like hockey. You flip-flop sides that you attack after each quarter.
That almost looked like it went off somebody's eye.
Almost.
Oh, that's going to be a running joke for a couple years around here, I'll tell you.
Yeah, well, I think those iron pipes down there on the field have seen their fair share of lacrosse balls hitting them, so got a little more experience than you do than getting hit.
I knew there was a reason I was trying to get you to come down to help me out. Now you know why. Now I know why you didn't.
Yeah, well, it's happened to me a fair amount of times. Not in the face, but yeah, getting hit with the lacrosse ball is never fun. Hard rubber, getting Yeah, getting shot with the lacrosse ball is never fun, and you see some action right there. The goalie getting rocked by that attackman for Benilde.
Looked like the goalie was just, spacing out what was going on around him, and just kind of lost it.
Yeah, he was looking upfield, trying to find someone open to clear the zone. Forgot about the guy right in front of him, and Benilde-St. Margaret's really capitalized on that.
Didn't get the score, but they capitalized.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to send a message, given the fact that you're still somewhat early in this game. I mean, you got to set a tone physically, try to get your teammates into it, and that seemed to be the message that they were trying to send.
Trying to come out front to shoot. Shoots it wide.
Now you see the players twirling their stick. The purpose of that is just to not lose the ball, or what is that?
Yeah, what you see when they sort of twirl the stick is what's called a cradle, and it really prevents the ball from bouncing around in the pockets of the stick, which would be those little basket-looking things at the top. And if you don't really cradle effectively, the ball pops out very easily. So you can cradle with 2 hands or 1 hand, but either way, you got to find a way to keep the ball firmly in the pocket of your stick.
Courier Ulster now for the Stars. To McNamara on the left side.
Oh, pass led too far away. Hey, I picked up on a turn.
For Courier Ulster.
Yeah, and a fast break opportunity for Benilde this way. It looks like they have numbers, and well, it looks like it quickly went by the wayside there. The defense converged pretty quickly.
Here's Butts. Bothered by Guyette.
So you're going to have a dead ball here outside the restraining box for Benilde-St. Margaret's there, and they're going to get a chance to cut into this lead a little bit with a good chance to get some set plays going.
Wow, that ball really does pop out, doesn't it?
Yeah, that pass was a little bit low, so that's going to be a little difficult to handle. You just got to crouch down, make sure it makes it into the pocket, look it in. A lot of eye-hand coordination involved in this game, much like you'd find in sports like baseball or even hockey when you're trying to catch a pass on your stick, from someone who's trying to feed it to you.
Here's Ryan Butts, Guyette on him.
What's the referee counting?
When they step outside of the box, they've got 10 seconds to get back in. So when you see the refs counting, moving their arms up to their sides, they're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Basically letting the team know that they need to get back into the restraining box, where also will be a failure to advance penalty, and that their team will get the ball and get to go the other way.
So you can stall, but you can only stall within a certain frame.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to go to the cage. Eventually, if the refs believe that you're trying to kill the clock and not making an effort to go to the cage, they'll force you to keep it in the restraining box. And at that point, if the ball goes outside for any reason whatsoever, that their team gets it back.
Making his move, Fisher's on him. Schumann gets up left-handed shot, it gets through, it could be red knife ball.
And the ball can hit the ground before it goes into the net?
Absolutely. I was saying earlier that a lot of times you see bounce shots from some offensive players that that fool the goalie a little bit. I believe it was after one of the Luke McNamara goals where he ripped it past him. But yeah, I mean, a lot of times with the youth level, with the younger levels of lacrosse, you'll see guys try to go for the fast, high shots that are a little more flashy. But most lacrosse coaches out there will tell you that the more effective shot's usually the bounce shot, because it's tougher for the goalies to judge.
Well, Alex Libera, a little bit of luck on his side, but he's been outstanding in the net.
Yeah, absolutely. He's turned away those offensive opportunities so far.
And we were told to watch the Benilde goalie.
Yeah, Gilligan has been able to make a couple of nice saves, but obviously you gotta get some help from your teammates offensively to get a little support. Much like a pitcher in baseball needs some run support, goalies also need their offense to get going for them.
So Gilligan's being helped out by the play being in the majority of the Holy Angels defensive end.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a big part of this game is having possession, and when you have possession, you're bound to get more shots. When you have more shots, you're most likely able to get more goals as well.
LeBare's in there again. Oh, ball scooped wide. LeBare just got a kick save on it.
And like I said, he's been a little lucky.
Yeah, you know, seemed to be a lucky bounce right there.
LeBare the save.
But it's going to work out for him in the end, it looks like, since Holy Angels is going to get possession back. Their long pole, number 19, I'm not sure what his name was over there, was able to get close enough to the ball, or closer to the ball as it went out of bounds than anybody on Benilde, and they were able to get possession because of it.
Nanny, Matt Nanny?
Yep, that must have been him.
For Benilde, right?
Yep, actually, Holy Angels.
Oh, for Holy Angels.
Holy Angels.
See,
Sorry,
and we
my
want to
mistake.
identify the right individual. Taylor Craig,
Yeah,
long stick midfielder defender, sophomore. Timeout on the field. Let's go to another one of these if you have nothing to talk about. St. Louis Park using Twitter to reach residents. The city now uses Twitter, the popular micro-blogging service, to share news and events with residents. The city added the Twitter service as an additional communication tool in an effort to reach out to the interested public in a new way. Twitter.com/St. Louis Park to sign up. Paul, talk about the Swarm season ticket packages.
Well, with the season ticket packages with the Swarm, there's a little bit of everything for everyone. Seats on the glass that would allow you to get into the very exclusive fishing lodge over at the Excel Energy Center. All the beer, wine, and soda that you can drink for anybody who wants it.
Those of age?
Those of age, obviously. Each seat on the glass allows you to get a pass into the fishing lodge. There's also seats available in the lower level for season tickets, 8 games in all, for about $100 a piece, roughly. So, I mean, it's definitely the most affordable season ticket package that you'll find in the Twin Cities as far as professional sports go.
Now, a majority of the play in this quarter has been on the Benilde, or the Holy Angels defensive end. Is this where Benilde is just trying to flex a little muscle and show that they can be as strong as their goaltender as a team as a whole?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely great. Always great for your team when you're able to keep play on the other team's side of the field for most of the game, as Benilde was doing here for a good chunk of the second quarter. You know, it's like the old adage, you can't win if you can't score, and that's what Benilde's trying to accomplish here by keeping the play on the other end of the field, although Holy Angels looks like they are trying to put together some solid opportunities themselves right now.
Here's Turner now. Turner's knocked down.
Everybody threw the laundry in the air that time. Trip?
Yeah, they're going to call it a hold. It looks like it's going to be a 30-second technical penalty. So much like the 1-minute slash that we saw earlier, they're going to be Benilde, that is going to be a man short-handed here for the next 30 seconds unless Holy Angels can score during that time frame and stretch this lead to a 3-goal margin.
Fisher.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble paying attention. I think I'm having a reaction here.
Over to Hurley.
So can you carry for me, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now to Hurley.
So Holy Angels is working the ball up top there, you see. Good ball movement right now. Often allows for open shots. When you move the ball, you're going to give yourself a good opportunity to get a wide open shot in a lot of cases, and it looks like Matt Nanny was able to get in the way and knock that ball away, and you see the scrum that ensues, which is a great defensive play, especially when you have 30 seconds on the clock for a penalty. And right now you got Gilligan clearing it up, and Benilde-St. Margaret's looks like they're going to be able to kill this penalty pretty successfully. So Matt Nanny steps in the box to get, he does not step in the box, so it looks like it's going to be a failure to advance penalty, or a failure advance call, and it looks like Holy Angels will get the ball back.
Let's go back and look at that contact. right there.
Yeah, you know, that looked like a late hit, so I'm surprised there wasn't a flag thrown on that. It looks like the player for Holy Angels that can't quite make out the number from up here in the press box, but looks like he's pretty shaken up, and it's something you'd always definitely hate to see.
Wow, that's looks like a 20 number.
Yeah, and he's still shaking up down there. We still can't make out the number up here in the press box.
Almost looked like somebody we know earlier tonight. Wow. Yeah, it was. Let's take a 60-second timeout. When we come back, we'll read some more tidbits from Park TV.
Diabetes is a killer. After I was diagnosed, I didn't feel sick, so I didn't listen to my doctor. Then it struck. I had a heart attack, then a stroke, and I was only 49.
People with diabetes are 2 to 4 times more likely to suffer a stroke than people without diabetes, and many who survive are severely disabled.
Don't let diabetes destroy your life.
Learn how to reduce your risk of stroke. Call for your free diabetes survival guide.
Play resumes after the injury timeout, and it's in the Holy Angels defensive end, and you can see that Benilde has just picked up their intensity a little bit. Even though it was a late hit on a Benilde player to a Holy Angels player being put down. It was number 22, it looks like.
Yeah, Jack Brown was helped off the field. He's grabbed himself a seat on the Holy Angels bench with the training staff there, and he seems to be getting looked at pretty thoroughly. It'll be interesting to see if he comes back for this one.
But that can fire up both teams and for many reasons, and we got to score.
Oh, and that is just an unbelievable job riding there by number 1 for St. Benilde. I don't know if we have the number up here in the press box. Bailey Dodds, yeah, he pretty much did a textbook job riding there. He picked off the pass from the long pole defenseman there and snagged it before the goalie could really get back in position. Threw a fake up high, went down low, and cut this lead from 2-0 to 2-1.
He faked high a couple of times. He was looking for some sort of indication before he went low.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he seemed to have the goalie on his heels from the very beginning, but definitely throwing the fake right up high, threw the goalie back on his heels even a little bit more. So definitely a nice job there by Bailey Dodds to get Benilde-St. Margaret's on the board here in the second quarter.
And there we go.
And
Dodds got the assist, and
yeah, Bailey Dodds looks like he's getting the team going right now. I think it was Christian Horn who was able to get the equalizer here with the bounce shot. Caught it right away, let it go. It's definitely the way you want to do it when you're in the crease area. What you see the ref doing right now is checking the stick to make sure it's legal. It's not uncommon to see that with a lot of goals that are scored. Basically, they're making sure the depth of the pocket is not too deep, and in this case it looks like that goal's going to be wiped off the board because the stick is illegal. The top of the ball cannot be below the sides of the stick, and that seems to be the case right there. So it's going to be a 3-minute penalty on top of having the goal wiped off the board. And much like a major penalty in hockey, this 3-minute penalty will stay on the top of the board. Or actually, it's going to be, I can't even tell who the penalty went against. It looks like it's going to be against Holy Angels. So I guess the goal is going to stay on the board, and Benilde-St. Margaret's will be with the man advantage for 3 minutes, regardless of how many times they may score.
Are you only allowed one long stick player on the offensive end?
Not necessarily, but it's not to your advantage to have the long sticks on the offensive end because it gives the defenders more stick to go after when they're throwing their stick checks.
It's still a goal.
It went against Holy Angels. And Christian Horn, oh wow.
Christian Horn with his second goal. He's a freshman, and this assist came from number 2, Ryan Butts. Is there assists in lacrosse?
There are, and that's
That was definitely an assist.
yeah, it definitely was. I mean, sweet pass from Ryan Butts to Christian Horn. You really can't draw it up any better than that. Fed the ball right to his stick. Horn let it go right away, and now they got the lead after trailing for most of the first half here.
Bookmark in the Park needs donations of used books, DVDs, and CDs. Announcing the used book, DVD, and CD sale in conjunction with the Children's First Ice Cream Social, Sunday, May 17th, 2009, 2 to 5 p.m. at Wolf Park. This is Make a Good Book Better. Read it. I can't read the logo here. It's for St. Louis Park. It looks like it's a city promotion. And what is it that Coach McCauley for the Benilde-St. Margaret's can be telling his players right now during this timeout?
Just keep pushing them. Keep pushing the play, forcing the issue like they have. I mean, Christian Horn and Bailey Dodds have really seemed to get this team, have gotten this team going here late in the first half, and the momentum has really swung their way because of it.
And for Holy Angels, what does Eric Overman say?
Don't panic. You know, there's still plenty of lacrosse left to be played. Go back to what was working for you. Scrapping for those ground balls, coming up with them, and really moving the ball well when you get the ball on offense, like they had when they were man up. I mean, they moved the ball beautifully, but they got to really get back to that if they want to get that lead back.
No, it's 3-2.
Going to be Red Knights ball on the restart.
That doesn't make sense.
Stars still a man down.
I guess they're going to call it an inadvertent whistle, it looks like. So the goal is going to be nullified.
Oh, that goal that we just talked about?
It's Guyette now for the Stars.
Yeah.
For the second goal there that made it 3-2?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the call was.
Maybe at halftime we can go down and ask about it.
Yeah. And it looks like a cross check's going to be coming up. Oh, and a slash against Holy Angels. So Benilde-St. Margaret's still going to be having the man advantage.
It's going to be a two-man advantage. Or actually three.
Yeah. Holy Angels definitely digging themselves a hole right here. They're going to be down 6-3, it looks like. And this is
not good because Luke McNamara, one of your main players for Benilde, or for Holy Angels.
Yeah, he's off the field right now, and that's definitely not good. And it looks like the stick penalty may have been released right now because there's 4 out there for Holy Angels. So definitely great opportunity for Benilde-St. Margaret's to get that lead, even though that parent game lead-changing goal had been wiped off the board a couple of minutes ago.
So still 2-2. Coming up on the 3-minute mark, remaining in the second quarter of the first half here. And that's 2 shots that went wide.
Yeah, and you see Benilde-St. Margaret's, backing up the shots, making sure they maintain possession, and that's something they weren't doing as good of a job as they could have been earlier in the game.
And bounced in.
Yeah, it looks like it was Ryan Butts who got the goal, so you can put that goal back up on the board for Benilde-St. Margaret's. Obviously, you know, when you're man up, especially a 2-man up, you got to cash in, and that's what they did right there. Good ball movement from Dodds to Butts. He used a little move known as the question mark almost in lacrosse circles. Didn't really get the leg up all the way. Didn't do the little button hook that you might see, but it was pretty similar to the question mark move you see a lot of NCAA and pro lacrosse players do on the big fields.
So Holy Angels still down a player for the stick violation.
So you see the scrum taking place. So the players are going to take it up to their straighten box right here, where their offensive players can really roam the field pretty freely as long as they keep the ball in the restraining box, or at least get it within the restraining box for within a 10-second period. Sorry.
This is McNamara now. McNamara bothered by shield blow.
So McNamara was double teamed while he was outside of the box.
Yeah, you'll see that a lot when a team is down a man, and they're trying to kill a penalty. And Benilde-St. Margaret's did exactly what you're supposed to do. You have two men double the guy with the ball when you're a man up on the defensive end. But the ball went out of the restraining box, and Holy Angels wasn't able to get it back within the restraining box in that 10-second frame. So you see Benilde-St. Margaret's get the ball, and now they're going to get a chance to go on offense.
Horn thought about it now. McNamara on O'Toole.
I'm sorry, I'm just, there you go. That almost looked way too easy.
Yeah, you know, Benilde-St. Margaret's is really running their offense from behind, from up top, but allowing the attackman from behind the goal to really cut out front and come through undetected. So, I mean, they're having a lot of success with that. I'd look for them to keep doing that until Holy Angels can prove that they can stop it.
In the face-off circle now for the Red
So it's 4-2. Benilde-St. Margaret's on top of Holy Angels. Holy Angels started this contest out 2-0 in the first quarter, and it's 4-0 Benilde in this quarter.
Yeah, momentum is totally swinging the other way, and it looks like Benilde-St. Margaret's is going to get to go on offense again and pushing them back on a loose ball, something that is not allowed in the game of lacrosse. So Benilde-St. Margaret's will get a chance to extend this run right here.
You know, in all sports, there's good penalties, good fouls, good bad things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for Benilde, it's almost like that when that player went out for Holy Angels, that cross check, so to speak, that was in your terms a late hit, picked the momentum up for Benilde.
Yeah, you know, sometimes a big hit can do that for a lot of teams, and it seems to be the case here because ever since that happened, it's really seemed to be all Benilde here.
But that's not to say that Holy Angels is a bad team or whatever. It just woke Benilde up.
Yeah.
And Holy Angels hasn't done anything a whole lot different. I mean, they're not a step slower. They're not, you know, doing this differently or that differently. It's just Benilde has picked up their steps a little faster.
Yeah, and, you know, keeping the ball on the Holy Angels side of the field seems to be wearing them down a little bit. You know, it really can gas your defense when you're on the defensive side of the field all the time. So you're definitely seeing the effects right there.
Is that Butts again?
It looked like it was Ryan Butts cutting from behind the goal again and sneaking it past the Holy Angels goalie, and extending the run to 5-0 right now.
Let's take a look. Coming up on the bench side of the net.
Yeah, he got the ball at X, was able to drive past the long pole there and just able to roll it in. It made it look pretty easy.
Loose ball is controlled by McNamara now.
And if Holy Angels is really going to get back in this game, they're going to need Luke McNamara to get some offense going, and he did right there.
Right off the pole.
Right there. Oh, right in front of the crease. You're not going to get any more wide open than that.
Another shot. Oh, it gets over the top. And that's the end of the first half.
End of the first half is coming up.
Yeah, it looks like there's about a second left on the clock, and that will do it.
The end of one half of play. It's Benilde-St. Margaret's 5, Holy Angels 2. I'm Tony Geer along with Ryan. I lost your name. There we go.
Paul Ripito.
Ripito, sorry.
That's okay.
Of the Minnesota Swarm. We'll be back after this timeout at halftime.
You can call me Ryan if you want.
Reduce, reuse, recycle, the 3 R's of Living Green. Living Green also means rechargeable, as in rechargeable batteries. They're the power in your power tools, cell phones and cordless phones, camcorders, and other portable electronics. When they won't hold a charge anymore, old rechargeable batteries must be recycled. Visit calltorecycle.org or call toll-free to learn more. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. And remember, if it's rechargeable, it's recyclable.
Paul Ripito and Tony Geer here at the Benilde-St. Margaret's High School football complex, watching Holy Angels Coal-Stars trailing 5-2 with the Benilde-St. Margaret's Red Knights in boys lacrosse high school level. Paul, you went and checked out the controversial goal that was taken away, and then there's a long stick and all kinds of things that were happening right there. Explain that to us.
Oh, yeah, I went down to the field and chatted with the refs about it a little bit during halftime. What happened was that the goalie for Holy Angels and one of the attackmen for Benilde-St. Margaret's, were engaged in a little bit of a tussle, and that's something you can't do away from the play. The refs deemed it a interference call, and the goal got wiped off the board, and it's making the difference in the game here, as it would be 6-2 Benilde-St. Margaret's, but it's not hurting them too much as they are up 5-2 earlier here in the third quarter. Pardon me.
What do the Coal-Stars need to do to regain some of the momentum they had in the first quarter?
They need to move the ball on offense like they were early in the game. A lot of it's probably going to go through Luke McNamara. He seems to be the star for the Holy Angel team, and if they're going to come back in this game, it's probably going to be him that leads them back.
Just like in hockey and basketball, it is so important to hit your target when you pass.
Absolutely. You can't keep possession of the ball in most cases unless you're able to pass effectively. And, in that possession towards the end, Holy Angels wasn't able to do it. And Benilde-St. Margaret's is going to have a chance to clear here. And they have a fast break opportunity here.
That's the advantage of having one of the top goaltenders in the state.
Yeah, a goalie can clear effectively is definitely an asset that's going to carry your team a long way, and it appears to be that case with Benilde, as Gilligan did a great job of avoiding the right-hand attackman, trying to prevent him from clearing the zone, and he was able to get it done and give his team a fast break opportunity. And now they're having an extended stay here in the offensive zone.
We'll review the Coal-Star schedule in a minute, but look at the Benilde schedule. Describe that goal we just saw, and we're going to replay it here in a minute.
Yeah, it's really ball movement, a lot of unsettledness on the defensive end for Holy Angels. Bailey Dodds was able to draw his defender out, feed the man in the crease. Number 13 there, I don't know if you have a number for him. It looks like it was Taylor Topousis, who was able to get the ball quickly in and out of his stick, get a good, accurate shot off, and he was able to put Benilde-St. Margaret's up here 6-2. And it looks like there's going to be an illegal procedure on McNamara there for Holy Angels. He must have moved his stick before the ref had blown the whistle to start the face-off, and you can't do that. When you do that, it's an illegal procedure, and the other team gets the ball and gets to go the other way with it.
Now, how much of this is at Benilde simply deciding? If you look at their first two games and scores, it's oh wow, that was a hit.
It was.
And he comes up with it.
And yeah, that's a lot of the toughness that you need to exhibit when you're a lacrosse player. You get knocked down, you got to bounce back up. And
to bounce back up with the paw.
Yeah, absolutely. And wow, it looks like Benilde-St. Margaret's is going to go man up again here. And it's definitely got to be something that you got to be happy with if you're the coach of Benilde-St. Margaret's. It was Peter Schubloom that was able to bounce up from that big hit. Lead the charge into the offensive zone, and
here's the hit. He's going to turn around. There it goes, right there.
It's knocked down, but he keeps the ball in his stick the whole time. He bounces back up, cradling the whole time pretty much, and is able to give his team a good offensive chance there.
Well, how much of this offensive explosion is just a sudden new attitude by Benilde after that illegal hit, so to speak, or is it being frustrated being 0-2 and only scoring 18 goals in those 2 games?
It's got to be a little bit of both. They got off to a little bit of a slow start here this evening, but they've really picked it up since then. And obviously, when you're 0-2, you come into that third game really wanting that win, not much more. And you know, going 0-3 to start the season is definitely never the way you want to kick off the spring. And they know the importance of getting a win here tonight.
Looks like they're going to play everybody in their section, with the exception of the Holy Family Catholic program is not in their section. And that's what's on their schedule. Eastview is also there.
Yeah, you know, it's actually their first league game of the season here tonight. And, you know, whenever you have a league game going on, the wins are that much more important, and they seem to realize the value of the game here tonight and the impact it could have on their postseason hopes as the season goes on. And Bailey Dodds and Christian Horn almost connected again right there. I mean, those two have been absolutely outstanding here tonight, in addition to Ryan Budd. So the 3 of them have really made life pretty miserable for Holy Angels as we are about 8.5 minutes remaining here in the third quarter.
Once again, it's 12-minute quarters. Now, for Holy Angels, they started off last week, or Monday actually, with Holy Family Catholic. And Holy Family Catholic is basically a brand new program to Lacrosse, and they beat them 22-4. So it was a good first game for Holy Angels to gain some confidence, but this is not what you would call a solid second game.
No, definitely not. And
here's the repeat of the goal here.
Yeah, it's going to be what looks like Sean O'Toole dodging from up above at the top of the box and just letting it rip, and he was able to squeak it past number 20, Alex Libera. So Benilde-St. Margaret's is really lighting up the scoreboard here midway through the third quarter and continuing what they were doing here in the second.
Now, neither of us know the Minnesota State High School League rules real good for lacrosse for high school. We have to assume that there's some sort of mercy rule somewhere, somehow.
You know, in my personal experience, I've never seen it in high school. But with lacrosse, what you'll see is a lot of goals scored. A lot of times, it's not uncommon to see teams be down 4, 5, 6 goals at this point of the game and even make a comeback like late within the third quarter or even early in the fourth and end up taking the game at the end. So
he crossed the line.
Yeah, it's going to be an offsides penalty coming up against Benilde-St. Margaret's here. You have to keep 3 players on one end of the field, 3 players on the offensive end, and at least 4 players, including the goalie, on the defensive end at all times, at least when you are at even strength. So it's going to be a 30-second technical penalty against Benilde right here, and Holy Angels is going to really need to cash in if they want to make a comeback. Obviously, there's plenty of time, but you can't let these man-up opportunities go by the wayside without cashing in on some scoring opportunities.
Ball's knocked down. It's still loose.
Yeah, it's going to be a loose ball push here against Benilde, so Holy Angels will be able to maintain possession. It looked like Gilligan gave him a good shove in the back on the loose ball, and that's, once again, something you're just not allowed to do. Kind of a silly penalty, and they're going to let Luke McNamara just rip it from up top, and that's something that you want to avoid if you're Benilde right now.
Paul, we listened to you describe this game and talk about the technical side of it. It's obvious that you've played it, that you're familiar with it, that you love the game. How often do you broadcast?
You know, I've never done a lacrosse game before. I actually did a little bit with a little bit of sports broadcasting with the campus radio station in college, but it's my first time doing lacrosse, and I'm excited about it.
Are you loving it?
I'm loving it. It's good to see some of these teams out here in Minnesota, see just how good some of these players actually are. So yeah, it's been very enjoyable for me. I know it's your first game, but what do you think of it so far?
I think the most polite thing I can say is I'm a basketball guy.
Oh wow.
It's not that it bores me, but I think if I took a little more time to understand the rules and the strategies, that it'd be easier for me to say I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But right now, my focus is on just carrying the information across to the viewers. And when I sit down and look at this, then I'll rehash it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's something that might take some people a couple of times to really warm up to, especially when you've never seen it before and don't know exactly what's going on. But I mean, once you actually get settled into it, watch it a few times, maybe even play it yourself, you can't help but fall in love with it. It's a really great game, and it was and continues really to be a big part of my life.
Now, this gig you have with the Swarm, is this a full-time gig?
Absolutely. From about 8:30 in the morning until about 7 at night, 5 days a week, maybe 6, depending on if we got games or other events. So definitely a big part of my life right now. And that's a great job riding there by the Holy Angels attackmen. I mean, really preventing Benilde-St. Margaret's from clearing the zone with ease, getting the ball back themselves, forcing that turnover.
Red Knights at full strength. Here's McNamara.
And they're going to have McNamara bringing it into the box, set things up from the top of the zone. He looks to be the go-to guy for them.
He's got the 2 goals for Holy Angels. We're going to get a trip on, this is going to be on Benilde.
Yeah, it's going to be a push with possession. It's going to be the official call. I'm not sure if I would have called that myself. It seemed to be a pretty clean physical play right there. But, there's a reason I'm up here in the press box and not down there on the field wearing the stripes. So
you have learned how to be diplomatic already.
Well, it's a tough job down there, and I used to be a little league umpire. It's not fun getting criticized, so I'll let the refs do their job. I'll do mine up here, but Holy Angels will get another chance to get on the board.
Saved by Gilligan.
Gilligan did a great job of saving that. He threw it into a crowd that time to clear.
Picks off the outlet pass.
Yeah, great job by Holy Angels riding right here. That's really a part of the game that goes unappreciated a lot of the time. If you can keep a team from clearing the zone, you're bound to have more possession time, and Holy Angels is really finding that right now with a very great job of riding that they've been doing here for the last couple of minutes.
McNamara has both goals for Holy Angels. They started out 2-0, and it's been all Benilde to this point after that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the offense has absolutely exploded for Benilde. Ryan Butts, Bailey Dodds, and Christian Horn have really led the charge. They seem to be the go-to guys. They are really showcasing their skill, and here's Dodds right there, and he gets another one. Bailey Dodds is having himself a night right now, and you got to be a little concerned if you're on that Holy Angel sideline.
Let's take another look at the goal by Billy Dodds. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Looks like Bailey Dodds.
Bailey Dodds. Oh! Production truck failure, so we don't have that one. Probably the only one we didn't have tonight. We're going to get a timeout by Holy Angels. We're going to take a 60-second timeout with this timeout from Holy Angels. You're watching Park TV, Channel 16, Lacrosse Boys Contest.
This is a banana. This is a cat. This is fire. This is harmless and actually helpful to some people. Don't believe everything you hear. The fact is that every major health organization rejects smoked marijuana. Now that the smoke is cleared, discover truecompassion.org.
Plan your own video program. Reach 13,000 plus Comcast cable homes in St. Louis Park. Your community's TV studio. Use a 3-camera control room. It's all there. Contact John, available for free at Community Access. John can be reached at 952-924-2528. Paul, we had a timeout after the goal, It is 8-2 Benilde. We're coming up on the midway point of the third quarter. What has been the difference between the first quarter and the rest of the contest?
I think it's mainly been the big three for Benilde, Bailey Dodds, Ryan Butts, and Christian Horn finding the holes in the defense. And Benilde's really moving the ball a lot better right now than they were during the early stages of the first half. And right now, Holy Angels just doesn't have any answers for them.
Just over 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Looks like Benilde is trying to throw a little fancy stick now that they got a lead.
Yeah.
Have you seen any other teams compete this year?
I haven't. We actually have a couple of people in the Swarm office who coach high school in addition to some of the players. I know Hill Murray over there in Maplewood is going to have a pretty solid squad this year. I also understand that White Bear Lake has a pretty good team as well. Eden Prairie with Ryan Ward, one of the long-standing members of the Swarm, always have one of the best teams in the state. And Wayzata with the Swarm forward Sean Pollock as one of the coaches is usually a solid team from what I understand. So definitely some good teams out there.
Now, is it part of the Swarm business plan or approach or community outreach to have all these players and front office people involved, or is it just kind of a coincidental thing?
It's definitely part of the vision that the owners John and Andy Arlotta had when they first purchased the Swarm this past summer. Was really to get out into the community and grow the sport, not just the Swarm, and that includes having players live in the Twin Cities year-round, which is something you don't find with a lot of pro lacrosse teams, since they don't make as much money as most pro athletes, and they do have full-time jobs, usually around the hometowns that they're from. But with a few of the guys moving here year-round, they're becoming very involved with lacrosse camps and coaching at the youth and high school level. So it's something that's definitely part of the business plan.
Now, I make no bones about how much I know about lacrosse. When I discovered last night, or actually realized, we'll talk about after you tell me about the goal.
Wow, that was a nice little move there by Colin Hurley. Excuse me. A little spin move, fooled his defender, gave it a little fake up high. Was able to switch hands, drive to his right, back to his left. Bounce it past Gilligan right there. So definitely some of what Holy Angels ordered there. And they have cut this lead from 6 goals to 5 with about 2.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter here.
As I was saying, I realized last night that in doing this or being assigned this event, I didn't know anything about lacrosse. So to me, the easiest way to do a quick study was to get somebody that knew lacrosse. How surprised was your front office to see my email this morning?
We weren't too surprised. We weren't expecting anything like that, but we were definitely willing to work with you guys here. I mean, we definitely love lacrosse. There's multiple guys who played. It was a matter of availability. I was able to do it, and the other guys had some other responsibilities they had to fill. But like I said, I'm definitely happy to be here and watching these two teams go at it.
If we were to give you a schedule for the rest of our broadcast coming up this spring for the lacrosse, how interested would the Swarm be in helping us out?
There'd definitely be a good amount of interest. I don't know how availability is going to look. Probably pretty good on my end with the fact that I'm not involved coaching any of the teams. The other two guys in our office who've played are going to be pretty involved. There's one guy who actually might have some more free time on his hands. But yeah, I think I could be available for a good chunk of these games if need be.
And that was just wide. Now, I am not trying to, quote unquote, put you on the spot. Okay? But I think it's fair to our viewers to understand how we were able to get someone from the Swarm involved with this. And I think it's really cool that the Swarm was able to drop everything on such a short notice and provide us with somebody, even though it's your free time. And that's exactly what it is. Community access, your free time.
No, and definitely we're happy to be a part of lacrosse here in Minnesota at the high school and youth levels. We really pride ourselves on reaching out to as many people and organizations as we can. We're not like a lot of pro sports teams out there where it might be pretty difficult to get them to come out to communities to do stuff like this, but we're definitely happy to do it, and we really want to garner as many fans as we can. And loose ball. Scrum right there. It was picked up by Mike Hoff. Yeah. Mike Hoff was able to scoop it up. No stick checks from the Holy Angels defenders there, and was able to put it past Libera, and the goal that Hoff puts up on the board extends the lead back to 6 with about 30 seconds remaining in the third quarter here.
And there it is. He bounced it in. And how can fans out there of lacrosse that have youth programs get in touch to see how the Swarm can help with fundraising, appearances by players, encouragement, one-day camps maybe?
Well, with fundraisers, what we provide is a way in which they can come out to games. They can actually help us in the process and raise some money for their teams. What we do is that we have teams get discounted tickets from us and sell them to friends and family at face value and keep the difference. We actually had a high school team, Trinity High School, earlier this year sell 130 tickets for one of our games, and they were able to make a good chunk of money there. So, I mean, it's definitely something a lot of teams have used as an effective fundraiser. As far as appearances by players and whatnot go, it's pretty tough to do here outside of the season with only a few guys available. There's definitely players who run their own camps that they would definitely love to have the younger guys come out to. And yeah, if you send it to the same email that you had sent to us this morning, I forget which address it was since it was forwarded.
I basically went to the Swarm website, went down into the staff listing, and I went to the man on top. And it trickled it.
Well, that's
it trickled its way down.
It's probably the best way to go as far as player appearances and other things of that nature go. I know there's one individual who usually handles it. I don't know how he'd feel about me giving out his name and information over here on TV, but yeah, he would definitely be able to get to any questions or requests in that regard.
So if you just send a random email to the Swarm directly at somebody, it will go to the right person eventually.
Oh yeah, I mean we have a pretty small front office, but we're closely knit. We work well together, a lot of communication, so we'll make sure it gets into the right hands.
Okay, is that good for putting you guys on the spot?
It's fine, just got to roll with it.
Okay, we got... Was there more flags? Was it the end of the quarter?
Well, it looks like
yeah, it looks like it.
We've got 2 illegal sticks.
Well, they were checking sticks. No, it wasn't.
And it looks like...
Yeah, and they did some stick checks.
So oh, they did stick checks at the end of the quarter. Okay.
Yeah, they'll do that from time to time.
Both teams start the fourth quarter man down.
Okay, so we got a total of 3 illegal sticks.
Yeah,
taken out of the game.
Two simultaneous, it looks like. So, I mean, they're going to be playing man down here. Well, both teams will be man down for the next 3 minutes. And that might play in the hands of Holy Angels a little bit, give them a little more space in the offensive zone to work with. So we'll see how it plays out.
Gilligan passed the ball up ahead, and he wasn't expected to be that short or that high.
Yeah, you know, when you misjudge those passes on the breakouts, it's definitely going to hurt you as far as clearing goes. And Gilligan definitely saw that firsthand there.
How much of a difference is the lighting now for these guys? It was nice, sunny when we started, and now it's gotten into nighttime where you got the field lights going.
It doesn't make too much of a difference. Obviously, you know, when the sun's out, you can definitely see it a little bit better. But I don't think it really affects you too much unless you're in the shadows, unless the ball goes way up in the air where you might lose it in the lights. But for the most part, I think these guys are going to be fine for the duration of the game.
So it's not like you're at the Metrodome and losing it in the roof?
Not quite, not quite.
Okay, it was a bad shot at the Metrodome. I'm sorry.
Yeah, being a non-Minnesotan, I've never been to the Metrodome, so never experienced it firsthand, but I've heard it's been pretty brutal as far as fly balls for outfielders.
Next subject.
This is going to be Torvik now, long stick midfield for the
Yeah, so you got Benilde-St. Margaret's back on offense. Billy Dodds, who has really had himself one heck of a game here tonight, is holding on to the ball out there by the restraining line, and you have Nanny throwing it above his head, too hot for him to handle, and he's got to scoop it up and get back in the restraining box within 10 seconds here, and he does. So with such a big lead here in the fourth quarter, I'd look for Benilde-St. Margaret's to move the ball a lot, maybe not take as many shots, and there's going to be a crease call, and the ball's going to go the other way.
So you can come around the corner of the net there. You just have to be about 5-10 feet away to do it.
Yeah, I mean there's a white line that goes all the way around the net. It's a big circle. You can't step in that circle if you're an offensive player. If you're a defensive player and you don't have the ball, you can go through it. If it gives you an edge to really defend your guy, but it's something you don't necessarily have to do if it's not to your advantage. You got a little scrum going on, and it looks like there's going to be a push call. And the refs are discussing it down in the field, and it's going to be a blue ball, so Holy Angels will still get the chance to hold on to it.
All right, in terms of the lacrosse action that's been on the field, what's been one of your more favorite moments thus far this evening?
You know, it's really tough to say. I would have to say overall, I just like watching the way in which Butts, Horn, and Dodds have all worked together. Those guys have been the best players on the field, as well as Luke McNamara for Holy Angels. So, I mean, just seeing the way that some of these guys can play up here is pretty impressive. And I didn't know what to expect coming in here, but I'm definitely going to walk away here tonight impressed with a few of the players out there on the field.
Matthew Nanny steps in the offensive zone.
Oh, Bailey Dodds,
he's on it.
He is making this the Bailey Dodds show. I mean, he makes it look so easy out there. Gets it at the top of the box. He seemed to be toying with his defender a little bit. Here you see Hoff bringing it down, gets it out to Dodds. Left hand, takes a couple steps. He looks at Libera there, throws a little mini fake / big cradle there, and he finally just dumps it in past him and making it look so easy. Oh.
How long has the Swarm been at the XL?
It is going to be the 5th year anniversary this Saturday. I know the viewers out there aren't going to get to be a part of it, or by the time they see this game, they already would have been. But yeah, 5 years in the Twin Cities, and we've been averaging over 12,000 people at all our games so far this year, and it's something we're looking to grow on for next year.
What's the ticket range?
This year it was anywhere from $15 to $37 on a single game basis. They are going to go up slightly for the 2010 season, but it's going to be ultimately in a very similar price range.
How important is it for the Swarm to have their season just before the high school season when it breaks out outdoors? as opposed to being in season, for lack of a better word?
I think it's pretty important. It gets people thinking about the game a little bit earlier than they might. Maybe get those sticks broken out a little bit earlier. It's also tough for us in a lot of ways because of hockey season and the popularity of it up here in Minnesota. But I mean, once hockey season ends, it's amazing to see just how many lacrosse fans come out from the woodworks.
What is a typical lacrosse season? Is it in the spring?
Yeah, I mean, high school lacrosse usually starts in February or maybe even late January in warmer parts of the country. But yeah, it runs from the late part of winter into the early part of summer in most cases. I know in college, the NCAA championships are held on Memorial Day weekend every year. It's actually quite a sight to see. ESPN covers all the games. They get about 40 to 50,000 people at the Final Four. It's really a blast for all the lacrosse fans out there.
What is your typical fan age or demographic?
With the Swarm, it's really all over the board. We've got everything from young families with little kids to college students to guys who want to come out with their buddies and have a good time and come to the post-game party after and meet the players. So I mean, it's really tough to say. It's really a wide-ranging mix, but yeah, it's definitely something that is a lot of fun for everybody out there.
Apparently, there's a penalty coming up on Benilde once they touch the ball.
Yeah, a lot like hockey. Penalties aren't called, and the play's not blown dead until possession changes hands. So you have Luke McNamara trying to make something happen up there for Holy Angels, and the ball goes on the ground, and it looks like they're going to go man up here. It's going to be a 30-second technical against Benilde. We got about 6.5 minutes here in the fourth quarter, so time's running a little thin for Holy Angels right here, but they're definitely going to try to cut into that lead a little bit here.
10-3 our score. We're in the fourth quarter. I'm Tony Geer, along with Paul Ripito from the Minnesota Swarm, an account executive, former lacrosse player, club player in the college level. So we actually have somebody that knows something about lacrosse. You know, in the first quarter, I questioned everyone when they told me that Gilligan was one of the better goaltenders in the state when the Holy Angels program was able to start out 2-0. And now I'm seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it takes goalies a little bit to get warmed up. Seeing the shots in warm-ups is definitely different than seeing them live in the game. And once Gilligan was able to get a few of the live shots under his belt and to see some of the stars for Holy Angels up close and personal, he's really seemed to have settled in.
And again, the Benilde program has picked up a lot of intensity, and you go back into the second quarter on that hit.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if we ever caught the number for the player for Benilde.
44.
It was 44 who delivered the hit. Yeah, it doesn't look like they have him here on the roster, but yeah, he definitely swung momentum the other way, and Benilde hasn't looked back since. And that explosion in the second and third quarter is really what's made the difference, and it looks like they're on their way to a win here tonight. You don't want to count Holy Angels out at this point, but time's definitely becoming their enemy right now. And there's going to be a loose ball push, it looks like, and it's going to remain with Holy Angels there. It looked like it was number 10, John Jaeger, getting called for the push, and he's going to allow Holy Angels to keep the ball here.
Now, you cannot do a man advantage, so to speak, pull the goaltender or something, can you?
Not in the field game. This obviously being field lacrosse. With the Swarm, who play a different style of game called box lacrosse, you are able to pull the goalie much like you would in hockey.
So there's not as many players on the in the box, so to speak.
No, there's not. It's basically played on a hockey rink with AstroTurf thrown over it. So you've got 5 players on a side plus the goalies. So yeah, it's definitely different, but also similar in a lot of ways. And Patrick Gilligan seems to be having some issues with the stick. Doesn't seem to be coming out as cleanly as he liked, and he is beating himself up about that a little bit as the ball bounces towards his teammate and out of bounds there.
Is Benilde just kind of, getting a little lazy, trying to ride the timeout?
I don't know if lazy would be the right term, but as of right now, they're probably a little more passive. They're sitting back with a big lead, try not to make too many mistakes to let Holy Angels back in it. And that was some good movement right there. It looks like it
14 was the score.
Yep, it was Michael Mamalakis who was able to put it in. He got the assist from Hurley. And yeah, you see Hurley just avoid his defender, just sidesteps him a little bit. He finds Mamalakis wide open there in the crease, and he was able to really take advantage of a great opportunity right there. You're not going to find yourself wide open in the crease that often, and he cashed in.
Mamalakis at wing. And Rumley at the other wing to the
Now,
side.
you're rarely going to find a shutout in lacrosse. What is the equivalent, so to speak, for a goalie?
Like you said, shutouts are so few and far between. If you can hold a team to maybe 2, 3, 4 goals, you got to be happy with the performance by your goalie. And Gilligan hasn't had to face too many shots tonight, but he's definitely made a couple of nice saves. So overall, you got to be happy with the performance.
So Gilligan giving up 18 goals in the first contest versus Forest Lake losing 18-11. Giving up 10 goals in a contest against Minnetonka, losing 10-7. Is in a position where he's only given up 4, and his team can win 10-4 at this point here midway through the fourth quarter.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's got to be happy. He's got to be happy with the fact that his team's been able to really dictate play, keep the ball on the other end of the field, cutting down the number of goals that he's given up in the process. So whenever you're able to really control possession like Benilde has for the majority of the game, you're going to make your goalie happy, and you always want to make your goalie happy.
So it's not so much what Gilligan has or has not done. It's been more the defensive play or the offensive play for Benilde tonight?
I would say the time of possession in the Holy Angels zone has been the key to the game. I mean, obviously, you've had the big 3 for Benilde, really putting up a lot of goals, making a lot of plays. And that's really what's been the difference. I mean, Patrick Gilligan, rather, hasn't had to face too many shots. And when your goalie doesn't have to face that many shots, you always give yourself a good chance to win.
Malkus loses the ball now.
You don't mind carrying the broadcast the way you have, do you?
No, I don't mind at all. I know you're trying to learn about the game. You've never seen it before, so I hope I've been helpful. I hope I've been informative for all the people out there.
We do encourage the fans out there to send a note, if you would, to Park TV, Channel 16. Comment on what you think about the broadcast, the style that we use for our first lacrosse game. And if you have events that you think should be covered, make mention of it. I think the spring schedule is pretty much set through Memorial Day, but there's always adjustments that can be made for a compelling contest.
Home game that's next Tuesday at 5:30 against Totino.
And here comes Holy Angels.
Next home game for the Red Knights next Tuesday at 5:30. That's the time change. There's a
shot. Luke McNamara.
He just took control.
Yeah, he had a guy trying to line him up, and he shrugged it off like it was nothing. I mean, he's been having himself a pretty solid game there. Here it's going to be number 19, Matt Nanny lining him up, not being able to knock him down, shrugged it off, ripped it past Gilligan there, and he has himself another goal. So Gilligan will take the face off again for himself, and he's having trouble picking it up, and he's got it. So Luke McNamara doing a little bit of everything here for Holy Angels late in the fourth quarter.
Here's Fisher now. To Hurley on the right side. Hurley tries to go to Curry.
And that ball goes through.
Yeah, sending a lot of cutters through the zone there, trying to leave the crease open. Wasn't happening there. Now the ball's on the ground, and the little scrum's taking place. And there's going to be a loose ball push. And Holy Angels is going to hold on to it.
Is that basically holding somebody on the ground longer than they need to be?
Basically, if you're away from the ball and you just shove another opponent or another player on the field, it's something that's deemed pretty unnecessary. So the refs penalize the other team by awarding possession to the team that was shoved. And it looks like
this is going to be for arguing with the referee.
Yeah, it looks like there's going to be some unsportsmanlike penalties coming up this way.
That's obviously some frustration.
Yeah, you know,
whether it's warranted or not, there's some obvious frustration going on.
Oh yeah, I mean, with less than a minute in a game and you're down by 5, if you've been trying to battle all night, you probably feel like some calls haven't gone your way. You know, you never like to lose, and all these young men out there are definitely competitors, and like you said, the frustration showing at this point. And with about 38 seconds remaining on the clock right now, it looks like Benilde is probably just going to try to move the ball around the zone and run out the clock. I wouldn't expect to see too many shots, if any, here on goal. And there you see them moving it. And oh, nice little spin dodge, roll dodge, if you will. And it's going to be Sean O'Toole getting on the board again. So with 22 seconds left in the game, they are up 11-5. And Sean O'Toole is getting those stats up on the score sheet a little bit as well. So maybe Benilde-St. Margaret's has more than those 3 guys as far as offensive weapons go.
Well, it's a nice opportunity for a bench player or a non-main role player to participate in the scoring.
Yeah, it's not uncommon to see players who don't get that many minutes get into the game here at this point, and Sean O'Toole seems to be getting himself some minutes here as well, and he's definitely taking advantage.
Benilde-St. Margaret's will move to 1-2 on the season, getting their first win, and Holy Angels will move to 1-1, their first loss. We want to thank Paul Ripetol for joining us from the Minnesota Swarm. We hope to have him back for a future lacrosse event. And our final score is Benilde-St. Margaret's Red Knights 10, the Holy Angels Co-Stars 5. 11-5, my fault. Paul, final thoughts from you.
Big win for Benilde-St. Margaret's here tonight. Obviously, going 0-2 in the first games kind of served to wake the team up. Coach Mulcahy was able to get his team ready to play tonight, and they definitely showed up. They definitely have a little bit of offensive firepower, and when you have a solid goalie like Patrick Gilligan, you're definitely going to see a lot more wins to come if you're able to keep the ball on the offensive side of the field like they did for the majority of the game here tonight. In Holy Angels, you've got some good players like Luke McNamara as well as Bennett Collier Oster, and you definitely you can't take too much away from this game. Obviously, it was a disappointing result, but you gotta look ahead to the schedule, and they've got some talented players, and they definitely are going to be a team that will have themselves a pretty good season as the year goes on.
overall, you're impressed with what you've heard and now what you've seen from Minnesota lacrosse?
I've seen some pretty good players out there tonight. I know there's a lot more out there, and I'm excited to see some more of the high school lacrosse action, see just how many good players are out here.
Thanks for joining us, Paul Rippetoe.
Thank you for having me.
And our planned post-game interview with the Holy Angels coach will not happen. We're having some time-constraint issues. We want to thank you for watching Park TV Channel 16. Once again, our final score, Benilde-St. Margaret's 11, Holy Angels 5.